here in this chair in January saying happy 2023, and now it's May. So enjoy your time, enjoy your life, enjoy it with the people that you care about. I want to spend a second here before we do anything wishing once again all of those moms a very happy Mother's Day. So if you just became a mom, if you're on your way to becoming a mom, if you've been a mom, if you're a veteran mom, we appreciate you and we wish you a very happy Mom's Day. I want to send one to my mother, Debbie, and I love you, Ma. We got to have a great time yesterday at 317 at Montgomery. We laughed. We spent hours around friends, had awesome food, and my grandmother showed up and in her own way. And then the really cool thing about Mother's Day, and I'll do it as a little show and tell, as Brendan did last time, is my mom brought something out. After we had our brunch at 317 at Montgomery, we went back to the house, and my mom had a bunch of stuff that my dad had found by accident, and we were able to kind of go through the history and connect with my grandma and my grandpa in a special way. And they always seem to do that. Both of my sets of my grandparents, is they find ways to connect with me today, having passed away years ago. My grandfather's over 30 years ago, and somehow they keep finding a way to give you a gift or send you a message or say something. So I thank God for that every day. So happy Mother's Day to my mom. I love you dearly. Happy Mother's Day to my G-Mama and my Gammy in heaven. To my other mom, Miss Mary T. To my Aunt Donna. Big time. I have a lot of great moms in my life. So I want to wish y'all a very happy Mother's Day. And I hope that your mom had a great one. I hope you did something special for her. And I hope you continue to every day, because Mother's Day is a reminder. It's not the only day. It's not the spotlight day. It serves as a reminder to appreciate your mom, but you should be loving them up and loving your dads up every single day, or whoever your guardians are, and the people that are your mentors and that are there for you, So make sure you take the time to take the time, because time is precious, and a lot of people say that they wish they would have, and I'm not the type of person of shoulda, woulda, coulda, so take the time today to love them up. Inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', DT and Murphy, news for you guys, which I love, and we'll be putting something out on social media, but when you're watching live and listening live, you get to hear it first. Murph and I are going to be every Monday, not every other Monday, every Monday. Why? Because Brendan paid me way too much to turn it down. But no, because we just love doing it. Murph is, and we'll talk about it when I bring him on screen here in a second, but Murph gave me an opportunity years ago to reconnect with MU Courtside, and for that to be my first baby, and means so much to me, and for him to ask me to come back and to get to do that, that was a game changer. I mean, we were total strangers to each other, and Rico linked us up, Rico Mastriani, and from the moment we started talking, that friendship just kind of happened, working together happened, and then he signed on to work with the company within the past couple of years, and I want to do what I can do to help whoever I can help, and DT and Murphy, a segment, a wake-up call, has become a staple. I like talking to Brendan every week, and so selfishly, I enjoy it. I know that many of you have watched and listened, and I appreciate that. So we're going to be doing it every Monday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. because it's fun, it's exciting, and it's a good way to start off your week. We'll be talking Major League Baseball, New York Mets, of course, and we'll be discussing the NFL schedule. I have not broken down the schedule release that happened toward the tail end of last week. We had a lot of things going on, so today we're going to do that. And then in hour number 2, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, you will be watching a Bobcat Buzz special on the leadership side of things. You're going to meet new campus director at Bryant Stratton, Syracuse, Mary Hawkins, and the entire coaching staff. So we've done events before with the Bobcat Buzz and roundtable discussions, or these big time rapid fires and whatnot. This is the first time we will have every single coach, including esports coach Brian Yurton, as well as new campus director Mary Hawkins. You do not want to miss a second of it. If you know Brian and Stratton, watch. If you don't, Watch. You're going to laugh. You're going to think. We're going to talk Ted Lasso. It's going to be a good old time. So do not miss a second of what's coming up in hour number 2. I'm elated to have that special coming up for you. A very unique way for a bunch of leaders to meet each other and get to know each other, as Mary was hired as the campus director of Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse. So great stuff coming up. Murph here first, and we appreciate you being here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, both / Wake Up Call DT, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. So with that being said, Murph, every Monday, Murph Monday now, officially. How are you?
Doing well. Running on only a couple hours sleep. Had one of those nights where you had trouble getting to sleep. We all have those once in a while, but it's going to be fun to do this every week. I know we talked about it for quite some time, getting going every week, and glad we can finally get that done. Also, while I have the floor, I do as well want to shout out some of the important moms in my life. My mom, who, even though we weren't together yesterday, still gave her that phone call. Her present is waiting in the kitchen when she gets home from work. I'm actually going to be going to pick her up from work, so that'll be first time I've seen her since Mother's Day. So looking forward to that. All my aunts, my sister-in-law Kate, who got a really cool birthday present on her for Mother's Day. For Mother's Day present, not birthday. Her birthday's not till June. But my niece was riding in a horse show, and I think I mentioned maybe on here once before, Kate does a lot of equestrian stuff with like horse jumping and trains horses, finds horses for people. And Dara, my niece, was riding a horse this week, and she was doing some jumping, and that was a really cool thing to see. She shared some pictures on social media. That was a really cool thing. So I did want to give my sister-in-law Kate a shout out for that. My sister Laura, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
Yeah, no, we got some good ones. I hope you do too. If not, I hope you have one soon, because moms are a very special key part of life. And my G mama up in heaven, my Gammy up there, like I said before, and my Aunt Donna. I mean, she's been a mom to me my whole life. Obviously, my mom and Miss Mary T, Papa Joe's wife down there in Florida. I mean, we are very close, and she's been a mom to me too. So I hope that y'all had a good Mother's Day, and that we just celebrate. We got to celebrate each other, and I want to thank those moms, because it's tough to be a mom. It's tough to birth a child. I can't sit here and speak on it, but and nobody's told me it's easy. So I definitely respect that side of it, or I respect the side of it of raising a child and loving up your child and doing what you can to see the best in them and to make sure that they're okay and that they're safe. So it's a very tough job. Sometimes it's a thankless job, and on this show it's not. So happy Mother's Day, happy every day. Thanks for loving us up and making good kids. And to Murph's mom over there, I know you did a good job, because this kid's all right. So shout out to Mrs. Murphy over there. With that being said, Murph, let's start with your Mets. Are you feeling good? Are you feeling eh? Are you feeling terrible? Where are you at on my Mets meter this morning?
I'm gonna say I'm feeling like, how you have like the or kind of like that.
Yeah.
I'm in the kind of category. Like,
okay.
I mean, if I pull up the standings right now, they are chilling in third place, and they are one game under 500, 5.5 back from Atlanta. Now, that's a benefit of Atlanta having lost 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't seen who they've lost to be honest. Wow, the Blue Jays and the Red Sox, they've lost 4 in a row. How about the AL East, though? I mean, we'll talk about that later, but that's a crazy division right now. But yeah, I mean, the Mets have been kind of killed by the injury bug, and also, they had a series with the Braves that got riddled by rain, so they only played 2 out of the 3 games, which was unfortunate. But they if you look around the roster, I mean, Lindor and Alonso are still driving in runs. They're each tied for second in the National League in runs batted in, but they're hitting 223 and 232 respectively. So they're not hitting per se. Now, like Alonso's still got an OBP that's over 100 points higher. But a guy like Lindor, I mean, he's still driving in runs, but he's not getting the big hits. The problem is they're not getting the timely hits that they've needed. And now Lindor got a big one in the Nationals game on Friday. He drove in, he had a bases clearing double. Bases clearing single that turned into a double on the throw to the plate. But it's been I don't want to say it's been a struggle for him, but it kind of has. And the rotation's kind of been up and down because they've been hurt. Verlander's only made 2 starts, so he just came back. Tyler McGill has the most innings pitched on this team, and he was supposed to be the opening day starter in Syracuse. But even Scherzer, now he threw well yesterday in game 2 of the split doubleheader, but we're still waiting on him to come around a little bit. He's pitched to a near 5 ERA, which is not like Max Scherzer at all. And he's been, he's already said that he's got the neck spasms, and with his neck, we all know how that goes. I mean, go back to Game 5 of the World Series when he was with Washington, literally couldn't pitch. Yeah. Like, it was so bad he couldn't even walk. And then 2 days later, he twirls a gem in Game 7. Maybe that's just working out for him. But I think the real question mark so far this season has been Kodai Senga. And he was the big guy that we got from Japan. And he's looked good at times. He's striking out more than a batter per 9. But the walks, oh my goodness. The walks are horrendous. I mean, he's walked 23 batters in 37 innings. That's not good, to say the least. Yeah. His control has definitely been an issue. And we've seen it from some of these Japanese pitchers that come over because the seams on the Major League ball are lower than the Japanese ball. The Japanese balls are tackier than the Major League ball. So it's been a thing for many, many years of guys coming over from Japan and even South Korea to pitch that have had trouble adjusting at first, also because of rest. In a Japanese schedule, pitchers pitch once a week. They have their day, they pitch. And in the Major League Baseball, you're pitching every 5th day. So that's different. It's very different. So he's been occasionally needing that extra rest, and that's been forcing a guy like David Peterson, who's rocking with a 7.5 ERA right now. That's forced him into action, and he's got the 3rd most innings pitched on the team, and he has not looked good at all this year. And it sucks because he looked really good last year and looked like he deserved a spot on this team in this rotation, but just hasn't really been that. But the one guy that's been a godsend since Edwin Diaz got hurt in the World Baseball Classic is David Robertson. David Robertson's got a .53 ERA, striking out 12.5 batters per 9. He's already got 7 saves. He's also got 4 holds because they're using him pretty similarly to the way they use Diaz in those very high leverage situations. And they're not afraid to pitch him in the 8th inning and throw out Avino in the 9th. And Buck's done a really good job managing the bullpen so far this year. And they haven't really lost us all that many games. Drew Smith has pitched well. Adam Ottavino has thrown relatively well, pitching to about a 3 ERA. And even some of the borderline guys. I mean, Jeff Brigham's been really good, pitching to a sub-3 ERA. Jimmy Yacobonis, outside of one outing, has been very good. Looking up and down this team, I'm not that worried. Let's put it that way. I'm worried, but I'm not that worried. And one of my good friends from college, Trevor, he has a podcast that they talk baseball a lot. Anyone wants to check it out, it's called the Backside Ground Balls Baseball Podcast on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all that stuff. So I want to give him a little shout out real quick because of the conversation we were having yesterday.
Yeah.
We were talking about because I had called them shortly before they recorded an episode and they went live on YouTube, so I listened to it. So on their episode, they were talking about who would you rather have, the Rays or the Yankees, from this day forward.
Yeah.
And Trevor had said the Yankees, and as I'm listening to him explain why, because in my head I'm like, I kind of would rather be the Rays, right? And as I'm listening to him explain it, I'm like, he's right. Because it's hard to go wire to wire in Major League Baseball for an entire season.
Yeah.
The Mets were in first place last year from day one, well, basically day one, until the third to last day of the season. That they did not relinquish first place for the entire year until they got swept by the Braves. And that was it. That was, it couldn't go wire to wire. They end up being a wild card team and they get bounced by the Padres in the wild card round. It haunts me still that they had to play in that series. And they would have had to play the Phillies had they been, had they actually gotten the division. I don't know if they would have beaten the Phillies because if you look at that team, they got red hot at the right time. And all these Philly fans who came in this year with sky-high expectations that, this team's going to be so great, the pitching's awesome, the lineup's awesome. Yeah, the lineup's good, but you were missing Harper for the first month. And, by the way, how about the recovery from Tommy John surgery for Bryce Harper? 162 days, I believe the number was, that he was able to come back and play. That's ridiculous. That's impressive. That's a guy who wants to play baseball. And that's why I've always loved watching Bryce Harper. And he's been on teams that I hate his entire career. He's been on the Nationals, and now he's been on the Phillies. Yeah. I hate the Phillies more than I hate the Nationals. The Nationals never did anything wrong to me, so in 2019 I was actually rooting for them to win the World Series. It's not very big of me as a Mets fan to admit, but I'm going to admit it. He's been a fun player to watch because he just is, he's a freak. He loves the game, and he's very passionate about the game. And the fact that he's willing to come back and play in half a year after Tommy John surgery, actually less than half a year, pretty damn impressive. But overall, the Mets, I'm not too worried right now because a lot of your recent World Series champions have not been so good in the middle of May. I mean, if you remember the Nationals, they were dead last in the National League East. They were, I think it's 10 games under 500, and they won the World Series. It can happen. They're still a very good baseball team, so it can definitely happen.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing about this season, right? It's who can last this season, who can last this amount of time, the 162 games. Can you find a way to get all the way to the end and not be a team for half the season? And my Diamondbacks, to kind of lead into that, I mean, they've been that team. They've been the half-a-year team. They've been the team that they can have a good start into the All-Star break, or they can have a good finish. Well, the Diamondbacks, I got to give them credit here. My team out there in the NL West, they're still in the top two with the Dodgers. They were in first. Now they're in second, 23-18. Dodgers 26-15. So they've been hanging up there and doing a good job. I hope it continues. Milwaukee Brewers lead the Central, the National League, and the Braves, then the Phillies, then the Mets, then the Marlins, and the Nationals. Nationals and Marlins with losing records as well as the Mets, just under 500 at the time that we're talking right now, 20-21. In the AL divisions, the Texas Rangers are leading right now, 25-15. They lead the West over the Houston Astros. Currently in the Central, the Twins are at the. How about this? This is how crazy divisions are in baseball, though. So you look at the AL East. Every single team has a winning record. You look at the AL Central, one team has a winning record. 4 out of 5 teams in the AL Central are under 500. The Cleveland Guardians, Detroit Tigers, Chicago White Sox, Kansas City Royals, all under 500. The Minnesota Twins, the only team above 500, and they lead the division. The Kansas City Royals would have the worst record in baseball, if not thanks to the Oakland A's, who are 9-33 right now. The Kansas City Royals are 12-30. So looking at the AL side, Oakland A's, Kansas City Royals, AL Central, all losing records except for one. That juxtaposition, Murph, to the AL East, which features the Rays on top, the Orioles behind them, then the Jays, then the Yankees, then the Red Sox, with everybody multiple games above 500.
Yeah, I mean, I can't help but laugh at the A's, and I feel bad. I genuinely feel really bad for Oakland Athletics fans. First of all, you're getting your team stolen from you. They're going to Vegas.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with, you know, that the city. It has nothing to do with the city of Oakland. It has to do with the owner's a cheap bastard, realistically. So I feel genuinely bad for them, and their team, they stink. I mean, if they don't get some help, they're going to be the worst team in baseball for a long time.
Yeah.
And you can't cry Moneyball anymore because everybody does it. When, you know, when you've got a team spending $25 million on your entire roster, when there are 40 guys in baseball making more than that alone, you got a problem. You do.
Yeah.
Now, the Royals, they've been in the middle of a rebuild for a long time. They're starting to work their way out of it. They haven't really figured out how to win yet. You know, Bobby Witt Jr. has developed into their biggest star. Not surprising based on how he was drafted when he was drafted. Vinny Pasquantino has been really good for them. You know, Salvador Perez reaching the end of his career, but he's still hitting over 300 with 9 home runs. So that's pretty nice for them, but their pitching staff has been dreadful. I mean, I'm looking at their starting rotation right now. You know, Chris Bubich just went down with Tommy John surgery. He was a bright spot for them. But Jordan Lyles is pitching to a 7 ERA. He's got the most innings pitched on the team. Zach Greinke's pitching to a 5 ERA. He's got the second most innings pitched on the team. Brady Singer, sucks for me to say it because he's an ex-Florida Gator, and I really loved watching him pitch.
Yeah.
Pitching to a 7.71 ERA. One of the worst in baseball. Third most innings pitched on the team. Brad Keller, 4.5 ERA. You're not going to win games when your pitching staff's pitching to a combined 6 ERA.
No.
It's just not going to happen. So that's the unfortunate part for the Royals. Now, the Minnesota Twins, that is a very interesting team. Now, Carlos Correa, who they brought back during the offseason last year after the incidents with the Mets and Giants, that was, first of all, that was a pretty interesting scenario. He's been just okay. I mean, he's hitting 207, but he's still driving in runs, hitting home runs. Byron Buxton has been, knock on wood, healthy to start the year. And I knock on wood because he's always getting hurt, which stinks for him. They just called Alex Kirilloff back up, former top prospect. In 8 games, he's hitting .409 with 2 home runs. So he already is having a pretty good start to the year. Joey Gallo, how about that? And Yankee fans probably cringe seeing it. 9 home runs, hitting .209. Now, Joey Gallo, we know he's never going to change. He's going to be that guy who's either going to hit a home run, he's going to strike out, or he's going to walk. There's no in between. He's got, 19 hits on the year. He's got 9 home runs.
Yeah.
5 doubles. So what was that, 14? 15. So, and a triple. He's got 19 hits, only 4 are singles. 15 are extra base hits. That's how you know he's never going to change. But if you think about it this way, if Joey Gallo hits 220 with 40 home runs, which is exactly what Kyle Schwarber did last year, and I wouldn't put that past Joey Gallo. I mean, he's about a 210 lifetime hitter. Let me see. He is not giving me lifetime average. Here we go. Career batting average is 200 on the dot. So he's right on the Mendoza line.
Yeah.
I think part of it was hitting 160 with the Yankees, 159 with the Yankees, 162 with the Dodgers. I mean, his best year in 2019, he hit 49 home runs. He hit 253, which he's not touching that anytime soon. He'll be lucky if he hits over the Mendoza line for the year. But if he can hit 210 with 40 bombs, it's still useful because that's exactly what Kyle Schwarber does.
Yeah.
Except he hits for a slightly higher batting average. And the thing with Joey Gallo, he walks so much because he's such a dangerous hitter. Because you all know when he gets a hold of the ball, it goes forever. He's got literal light tower power. He hit one over the weekend. Oh, my God. It was one of the furthest home runs I think Target Field's ever seen. And he hit it like 475 feet or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
And it was like 32-degree launch angle.
Well,
it's ridiculous.
It says right here, the data tracking system implemented in 2015 measures everything from pitch break to exit velocity in a matter of seconds. But Gallo's 3-run homer in the 11-1 win of the Chicago Cubs was hit so far into the right center deck, there was a delay in figuring out the specifics. So it was hit.
That's how far.
He hit the ball so far that there was no recorded distance at the time. Nearly 24 hours later, StatCast deemed that Gallo's blast traveled 422 feet with an exit velocity of 110.6 miles per hour.
See, that doesn't even seem like it seemed like he hit it harder than that.
That's insane.
It really is.
He hits it so fast that the metrics that are used to record it couldn't keep up with. So is he traveling faster than the speed of light? I mean, is that is this? Is it Mach Gallo at this point? Like screw Mach 3, Mach 5, whatever?
Probably.
I mean, is this Mach Gallo?
Probably.
That's insane. 110.
One more thing on the Twins before we move on from them, though. Yeah. Their pitching staff's loaded. Their rotation is really good.
Well, thank goodness, Brendan, that they have so many, contesters in their division. Sweet mother. And I'm being sarcastic for people that don't understand what sarcasm is.
Well, the thing is, in baseball these days now, you play everybody, so you play less division games. You used to play 19 divisional series or divisional games against every single team. Now you only play 13.
Yeah.
So they take away 6 of those games. So that's 6 less games that they get to pound on the Royals. That's 6 less games they get to pound on the White Sox and the Tigers.
Yeah.
So, but they've got a guy who I think has a very legitimate chance at winning the American League Cy Young in Joe Ryan. And he's a guy who came up with the Rays, and I know a lot about him because for anybody that knows me, they know I play Dynasty Baseball. And Dynasty Baseball is like basically fantasy baseball, but you keep your team every single year.
Yeah.
So we carry 20 prospects in our league. I have a new one now, but Joe Ryan was my guy that I found that was not on any prospect rankings list. He was not on anybody's radar, but I looked at his stats, watched him pitch. I'm like, ooh, this guy's got really good stuff. I mean, he's only 2 pitches, but he's got really good stuff. So I picked him up.
Yeah.
And yesterday was the last day that I owned him in the league that I had picked him up doing that. And I got him for a $1 waiver claim, and I just traded him to get Cody Bellinger and another nice prospect from the Orioles. Now, it hurts me to do that because I grew pretty attached to Joe Ryan. But I got a new guy in that. His name's Joe Boyle from the Reds, and that's conversation for another day. But
Yeah.
it was hard for me to give him up, but he's got a legitimate shot at the Cy Young this year. He's 2.16 ERA, 57 Ks in 50 innings pitched. He's 6-1 already, 7 out of 8 quality starts. I mean, Pablo Lopez has been the anchor of that rotation. What a trade for the Twins, getting Pablo Lopez in that deal. They got Pablo Lopez and prospects for a dude who all he does is, he's basically a worse version of Jeff McNeil, Luis Ariz. And yes, I said that. Marlins fans come at me, but I don't care. Luis Ariz is a worse version of Jeff McNeil. He's zero power. McNeil's at least got 20 homer power.
Yeah.
Ariz might hit 5 home runs in a season if he's lucky. I mean, Luis Ariz has Juan Pierre type power. And for anybody that knows Juan Pierre, dude was tiny, had no power. Juan Pierre, Kenny Lofton, dude, this guy has no power. So, I mean, good hitter, don't get me wrong. Like, the dude does not strike out, gets on base a ton because he gets a lot of hits.
Yeah.
But it's like Jeff McNeil. But Jeff McNeil's got power. That's the only difference. Sonny Gray's been great for them. 1.39 ERA in 45 innings pitched. He's 4-0, 56 Ks. Their top 3 starters all have more than 10 Ks per 9. And then you got Tyler Mahle, who's been good for them. I think he's hurt though. Yeah, so he had Tommy. He just underwent Tommy John surgery, so he's out for the year.
When you mentioned,
and then they just
Sonny Gray, he's leading Major League Baseball in ERA at 1.39.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He is and what a change for him. Coming from Oakland, he goes to the Yankees. The Yankees try and change something in him, and it completely kills him. The Yankees love sinkers. They want all their guys to throw sinkers, right? Now, Sonny Gray had a high spin rate fastball, and they didn't let him throw it. That's why he got clobbered with the Yankees. He goes to the Reds. Now he starts throwing his 4-seam fastball again, and it pairs well with his off-speed pitches, with his slider, with his curveball, with his changeup.
Yeah.
He goes to Minnesota, and he's doing even better. So clearly it's something with the Yankees pitching team, or their analytics team pitching-wise. They need to learn that you can't have all these dudes throwing sinkers. Some guys it works. Corbin Burns, perfect example, sinker cutter. Loves those 2 pitches. Hasn't been great so far for the Brewers this year, but that's what he does. And his cutter's disgusting. I mean, he throws at 96 with ridiculous movement.
Yeah, bless me.
God bless you.
Thank you. I love how the fact there was a time period where I did not sneeze on the air like more than 2 times in 3 years. I remember I sneezed like 1 time at ESPN Radio in Scranton, Pennsylvania. And then last year I sneezed like 16 times on the air. And being on video, it's like, what do? You cover your nose. And I know there's people, did you cover it or did you? I don't do this. I don't sneeze into my arm because I don't want snot in my arm. So I just kind of maybe that's something to put up on Twitter as a poll. Do you do this or do you that? Who does this? And by the way, there's no easy way to do this, to pull that in and just let it be. And then it sits there. I think I tried it twice and I was like, no. But I will say this about people. Those of you that sneeze and you don't cover your nose or you cough, you can see debris. Like, I've watched people sneeze and you see like this greenish yellow, just like a million of these like germs just flying into the air. And I've literally seen it happen in real time. And this was pre-COVID when, everybody thought we should wash our hands. And by the way, and this might be the annoying moment of the week, it might be part of it. If you are in 2023, I mean, at any point in your life, right? Because we've had soap for a while, I think. If you are in a bathroom, I'm sorry, Sonny Gray, to take some of this time, but if you are in a bathroom and you do not wash your hands, you sick person, you gross individual. How do you not? And I don't care what you're doing. I don't care what you're doing. You go in the bathroom, you wash your hands. But and you know, well, Dan, I just stood. It doesn't matter. You wash your hands. But the people, the most egregious party foul, the guy that you're hearing or woman, but in our case, the guy in the stall, where you hear like the you know, all that stuff going on. He walks out, and he's like, and goes outside. And I'm like, dude, you just, come on. Are you touching food? And then you kind of look to see where he is, because he didn't wash his hands, and you know he was in the stall for a minute, and you know he might have been, you know, having a little 5-round boxing match in there. And when it's done, and you come outside, and you see him, like, reach out and touch the hand of his lady, and then grab the ring out of his pocket, I'm like, the first time that ring gets touched when you ask a girl to marry you, it's got brown stains on it. Like, are you proud of yourself? So, I mean, you know. So, I like to watch and see where are these people at and what are they doing. But wash your dang hands. I can't. And do not blow your nose into the air. People are nasty.
You got to clip that. I think that's got to be your annoying moment of the week, man. You got to clip it.
but for
clip
real,
it and re-air it on Friday.
It's like, but it's for real. And if you are on a plane, do not be sick. Okay? Do not be sick on a plane. There was a woman behind me. Oh my goodness. Clearing her throat, coughing. I felt bad for her, and then at the same time I felt bad for all of us. Just don't do it. Don't fly if you're sick. Don't go to work if you're sick. Stay at home. Get better. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't think COVID made a lot of us sick. I think a lot of us nasty people not washing their hands made all of us sick. You know, just, I can't with the bad. I mean, it just happened recently. I was in like Target or something, and the guy walked out of the stall straight for the door. And I was like, there should be an alarm that goes off. If you touch the door without washing your hands, there should be some type of sensor that stops you at the door and sprays you with soap or Lysol. Like, there should be some type of, like, I don't know, some contingency system that if you try to walk out, it's like, and then you're good to go. Yeah. But sorry, Sonny Gray. I felt the need.
That's okay. I think Sonny Gray can live with it.
You know, but I'm sorry, Sonny. They tried to make you something that you weren't. You know what I mean? You got to be the pitcher that you are, and God bless him, 1.39 ERA. And right now, as we're talking, 4 wins, no losses. And I hope that continues.
Yep. One last thing before we go on to the NFL, because obviously we've spent a lot of time on baseball here.
And sneezing.
You know, the Yankees. Yeah. But the Yankees. So, I mean, you know, I'm sure there's plenty of people that listen here that are Yankee fans.
Yeah.
Right? Just like there's plenty of you out there that are Mets fans. So, Yankees fans, do not be concerned. They're fine. They're just hurt.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm well aware they are in, you know, 4th place in the division behind the Rays. But look at what the Atlanta Braves did last year with a very good roster.
Yeah.
The Yankees still have a solid roster. Volpe's starting to figure it out, which is great for them. You still got some solid prospects coming up. The rotation's been solid. Cole's been good. Domingo Germán has been solid. They're getting, you know, Severino's been so-so, but he's able to pitch every 5th day for you. Now, Stanton is hurt, yes. Judge is hitting, which is big for them, which is, you know, what they need. And they're playing solid baseball. Like, they're not going to blow anybody out of the water.
Yeah.
But if they just play solid baseball all year, take 2 out of 3 in every series, you're still going to win 90, 95 games. That's still putting you in the playoffs. You don't have to win the division in order to win the World Series. I mean, look at the Phillies. The Phillies were the literal last team in.
Yeah.
And they went to the World Series.
Yeah.
They didn't win, but they went to the World Series.
Well, look at the Braves. That I thought they were the worst team. I thought of all the teams that had advanced a couple of years ago, they were the worst team of any team that had advanced to the postseason, and they won.
Yeah.
And who would
argue
with me that they
better
won?
than that team?
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing. That team wasn't even that good. This year's team is miles better than that team. Miles better. Even without Freddie Freeman.
Yeah. Without
Freddie Freeman, they're still good. I mean, look at Spencer Strider. Holy crap. Quadzilla, as his nickname is. The dude. So I was talking to my friend Trevor about this yesterday. Spencer Strider, in my eyes, has that it factor that we all saw from Jacob deGrom when he went and won the back-to-back Cy Youngs. He really does. And he's 7 years younger than deGrom was at the time. 7, 8 years younger. He's only 24 years old.
Yeah.
He's got an electric fastball that can hit triple digits and a wipeout slider. And he really only needs the 2 pitches. If his fastball command is on, no one's going to touch him. Because if he can paint the black with 100, which is what Jacob deGrom has done for many, many years, the last 5 or 6 years when he's healthy, it's quite impressive. It really is. He's been really fun to watch. And I'm looking forward to seeing him really continue to do well. He's another guy that has a really good Cy Young chance right now with how well he's pitching. And I definitely think he can do that legitimately. So that's my last point baseball wise. But Spencer Strider, if you don't know the name, go watch some film. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah, no, I mean, so we're going to talk obviously throughout the season a lot about baseball and so many things coming up. We're going to get to the NFL here. DT and Murphy to start off your week on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Our segment, DT and Murphy, myself with Brendan Murphy, 2 Marywood alumni. We're going to be bringing you our segment every single Monday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Time, so I'm excited about that. We just talked a ton of baseball with you, and we're going to stay on the field but switch to the NFL right after this fast break. We got some stuff to get into, including my early polling where I asked y'all on Twitter at CallDT, that's CALLDT. I'd do it on Facebook if they had polls, but we don't. But on Twitter at CallDT, CALLDT, who will win the AFC East, the AFC West, the AFC South, and the AFC North. And I'm realizing right now that I had somehow miswrote that thing, but people understood what I was talking about with the North. But we will take a look at that. I'll be putting up the NFC ones as well. So we'll check the early polling as we discuss the NFL schedule, which was released on the tail end of last week, right after this.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond. You can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you? This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next, is what makes me tick, and I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. They can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Happy to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. DT and Murphy starting off your week inside a Wake Up Call with myself and Brendan Murphy. Today, speaking on Major League Baseball season so far, the Mets and the NFL schedule release breakdown. So, Murph, I do want to get into these really quick here, and then we're going to jump into the schedule. So, a little tiny note here on the AFC early polling on Twitter. I'm going to be putting some stuff up today where you could vote for each division, who you think is going to win it. But early polling of the AFC East, 50% say the Buffalo Bills are going to win the AFC East, 16.7% Jets, 8.3% Patriots, 25% Dolphins. In the AFC West, Kansas City, 88.2%, the Chargers, 11.8%, 0% for the Broncos or the Raiders. In the AFC North, this is the tight one. Bengals 40%, Steelers 30%, Browns 20%, Ravens 10%. And in the AFC South, 66.6% say Jags, 33.3% say Houston. Nobody chose the Titans or the Colts as of yet. So, the season starts off, Murph, with an interesting game. Detroit at Kansas City. Detroit, an up-and-coming team with Dan Campbell as the head coach leading the charge. And the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that, if they're not winning the Super Bowl, they're still getting there. And we're en route to calling this a dynasty potentially if they continue to go to Super Bowls and continue to win Super Bowls in this Andy Reid, Pat Mahomes era. So, your thoughts on the first game of the season, our kickoff, Detroit at Kansas City, Thursday, September 7th, which is going to be obviously Thursday Night Football on NBC, and the Monday night game to open up week one and honoring September 11th and our fallen brethren and sisters in the world of this beautiful country. And it's a special day. It's a day to remember. It's a day we said we would never forget, and I think we need to remember and come together again. Buffalo at the Jets. So the season will start off Detroit at Kansas City. Your thoughts? And your Jets will be the first Monday night game at home against Buffalo.
Yeah, starting off with the... Jeez, I hit the cough button once. It doesn't want to turn back on.
You're good.
Yeah, but the Chiefs and the Lions should be a fun game.
Yeah.
The Lions especially are a team that could be really good this year. Now, they did reach a little bit on their draft picks, and I think it was surprising to see them take a running back with Jahmyr Gibbs and then having them trade away DeAndre Swift, who I think Eagles fans are ecstatic to get their hands on him.
Yeah.
But I think it was a little surprising. Jack Campbell, another guy they might have reached for at the tail end of the first round, but he's a very good player. Very good player. And to pair him with Aiden Hutchinson in that defense, they could make some noise. They really could make some noise, and it wouldn't shock me if Detroit's in the playoffs this year. But everyone thought when they traded Matthew Stafford and got Jared Goff and all those picks, they're thinking, they're done. Goff's not going to be there for very long. Like, people forget, Jared Goff was a number one pick for a reason. He's a solid NFL quarterback. He took a dang team to the Super Bowl. A Rams team that you could argue wasn't all that good. He took that team to the Super Bowl and played a very close competitive game against Tom Brady.
The game that
so
Sean
got to give him credit.
That he had Todd Gurley on the sideline.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Arguably the worst played Super Bowl in recent memory. I don't know if anybody else disagrees with me on that.
So boring.
That was the worst Super Bowl
So
in like
boring.
in my lifetime. It was so boring.
I honestly
It was-
felt like, I mean, as a sports fan and as a broadcaster, it's like I'm watching it as a fan, I'm watching it as a broadcaster to obviously cover the game and talk about the game. I think because it was like 13-9, I just wanted it to be. I mean, I got to a point where my eyes were like, I would rather stare at the wall behind my television than stare at my TV. I mean, that was such. And as soon as it ended, it was like, oh, thank God, it's over. It was like the Rams were trying with everything they had to give it to Bill Belichick.
Yep.
It was like, dude, just take it because. And this is the thing, Tom Brady gets all the credit, and I know you Tom Brady fans are going to lose your minds because you're like, what is he going to say? Tom Brady he gets all the credit, but there are multiple Super Bowls, at least 2, where his defense won. I mean, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would throw 3 interceptions, and then in the Sean McVay like giveaway game, there's been at least 2 times where his defense did it, but all we hear is Tom Brady. And if I was the Bucs or the Patriots, especially on the defensive end, I'd be like, yo, you guys don't even know our names, but you're saying Tom Brady, this magician, not in the game against the Rams. And in that Bucs game, Brady made a ton of mistakes, and the defense just was able to clear them out. You know, they were able to clean up his mess enough to win the game.
Yeah, they made Mahomes run for his life in that game. Oh my goodness, that was you felt bad for Patrick Mahomes in that game.
Yeah.
But going back to that Rams Super Bowl, I think we were spoiled the year before with the Patriots and the Eagles.
Yeah.
That's the best game in recent memory, without question.
It was a good game.
So we got spoiled a little bit by that one.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs coming off that Super Bowl, they obviously are the odds-on favorite to win it again.
Yeah.
Not surprising because they got better. Most teams usually do. Well, most teams usually don't after winning the Super Bowl, but a lot of them do.
Yeah.
I would not be shocked at all to see them go back to the Super Bowl.
No.
And run it up again. I could easily see them being the number 1 seed in the AFC, winning 13, 14 games again. That'd be very impressive. Now, for the Monday night game, September 11th, on the anniversary, I still believe this game should have been Jets-Giants. I think anytime you have a game on September 11th, I think it should be played at MetLife Stadium. And I think if it's a year the Jets and Giants play, it should be the Jets and Giants. Now, I think they did the next best thing by putting the Jets and Bills.
Yeah.
2 New York teams.
Well, and the Giants get the Sunday night against Dallas, so like they're right there with it too.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But as we look at that, that's a day that'll live in infamy forever. It's people are still dying from that, from the dust cloud and being on the pile. I know at least from my own personal experience, my Uncle Lou got some serious PTSD from that. He was on the pile. He was in the cloud, but then he was on the pile pulling for bodies, and you're finding like limbs and severed heads, and it's I can't even imagine what he had to go through seeing all that.
Yeah.
But as for the game, and real quick, I got a little present. Well, I got a little present in the mail this weekend. So with our new quarterback, I think I needed to get myself a new jersey.
Look at you. Is that from that really reputable website that you go to?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
How much did that cost? 25? Was it $25?
30. It was 30. So
Murph, I gotta go through you to get my jerseys.
And one for my dad.
I gotta just talk. I'd be like, Murph, set up my Trevor Lawrence jersey. I'm not paying $180 for it. So
I'll send you the link, man.
Send it to me. Is it gonna give me a virus on my phone?
No.
Okay.
It shouldn't.
Text me the link right now.
It's a legit site. Here, I'll text it to you right now.
Text it to me right now because I want to look. I was gonna have a customized Trevor Lawrence before the draft because I was confident, but then there was a little part of me that was like, if they draft Justin Fields, no offense to Justin Fields, I'm like, I'm gonna have a problem with it because it was an easy one. All right, here's the link. I got it.
Well, why wouldn't they draft Trevor Lawrence that year? I mean,
Hey, that was
I'm sitting there as a Jets fan praying they didn't, obviously, but I'm like, well, we're gonna get stuck with Zach Wilson, and God help us there. I have not yet burned my Zach Wilson jersey. I am prepared to. So I'm thinking about setting up a day to do that. So any Jets fans that want in, let me know, and we'll set up a little bonfire where we burn all of our Zach Wilson jerseys.
Oh my goodness! Is this what I'm looking at? $27 US, $27.74. Look at this.
Now I usually go with the ones that are a tiny bit more expensive. So don't go with the ones that show like $17. Get the ones that are a little bit more expensive because those ones usually come out a little bit better.
Yeah.
In my experience, from what I've seen.
This site is
my only gripe with the Rodgers jerseys I got, the sleeves are too long.
Okay.
That's my only gripe. But no, it's okay. But while you're looking through that, I'll kind of go back on this football game here that we're going to talk about, the Jets and the Bills.
Yeah.
We know the Jets can beat the Bills. It happened last year.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson and that defense beat the Bills. Well, let me rephrase that. The Jets defense beat the Bills.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson didn't do squat. It was the week after he threw the 4 interceptions against the Patriots, and I was in the stands booing him the entire time. So
you were one of those guys?
Yeah.
Merv.
I'm not even kidding with you. I almost got in a fight with somebody because I was ripping on Zach Wilson. I really did.
Oh my goodness. Murph.
Yeah, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Out of control.
I am not afraid to say it because he sucks.
Yeah, I know you're not a fan.
And because the thing is, anybody that knows me knows I've hated him from day one. I don't even know why I bought a jersey in the first place, but I have hated Zach Wilson from day one. Hated the pick. I wouldn't exactly have cared for Justin Fields either, but at least Justin Fields looks like a competent NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson looks like he doesn't even know how to play football sometimes. It's bad.
Tell me how you feel.
No, but now that we got Aaron Rodgers, the savior is what we can kind of call him.
Yeah.
I think the Jets are going to be much more competitive, but for that poll,
yeah,
the Dolphins, really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Over the Jets? Really?
I don't know why. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I don't know. Somebody.
Tua is one hit away from getting decapitated, basically. So, I mean, if Tua has another concussion, he might have to retire. Yeah. So, you better hope that offensive line's good enough to protect him because he can't afford him to get hurt. Now, Granted, you got Mike White as your backup now. Yeah. You all know how I feel about Mike White. I love Mike White.
I like Mike White. I wanted him to get a job somewhere. Well, you know what? He's in the perfect place because Tua, God bless, will stay healthy. If he doesn't, of all the places Mike White could go to be a backup, the chances of him playing
that's the place to go.
Are like 90%. Yeah.
Oh, 100. He's going. He 100%.
It's like at some point in the season, like he's going to.
He will play this year.
It's like week 4. Mike White's playing.
I'm willing to put money on it right now. He will start at least one game for them this year.
Oh, I think he will. I'll put money on it too. Yeah. Fitzpatrick can play there till he's 85 years old if he wanted to because he was going to keep playing.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad that Mike White's not a Jet anymore, but that's okay. I got my jersey. I'm happy. I got my 2 years of Mike White.
Yeah. Get your Mike White jersey.
Jets Bills will be interesting in week 1. That'll be a fun way to start the season.
Let me throw this at you. Half of the NFL games in week 1 are divisional matchups. 8 of the 16 games, so 16 of the 32 teams will be fighting in division in week 1. Those games, Carolina at Atlanta, Cincinnati at Cleveland, Jacksonville at Indianapolis. Also within all of this, we have Green Bay at Chicago.
Don't the Jaguars play the Colts in week 1 almost every year?
Yeah, it's like within the first couple of weeks, yeah. And so
I feel like the last 3 or 4 years they've played the Colts
Yeah.
week 1 every single year.
yeah, they got to play them like week 1 or week 2. It's ridiculous. So Green Bay, Chicago. It's not ridiculous. It just happens. Las Vegas at Denver, another home one, and then we have Los Angeles Rams at Seattle, Dallas at the New York Giants, Buffalo at the New York Jets. So 8 of the 16 games to start off the season will be divisional matchups. And then here's the interesting thing. Now, Jacksonville gives up a home game every year to London. They go overseas. They go to the United Kingdom. They play a game. This year, they're giving up 2, but one of them's considered a road game, so they're not giving up 2 home games because that would have been ridiculous. So they're playing week 4 and week 5 overseas. Atlanta at Jacksonville be considered a Jacksonville home game at Wembley Stadium in London at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. That's on October 1st. And then the following Sunday, my dog Shady in heaven, love you girl, on her birthday, October 8th, Jacksonville will be considered a road game at Buffalo at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, playing at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. So this is the first time that an NFL team will have back-to-back games in London, which means the Jaguars will be spending 2 weeks plus over the pond. What are your thoughts on that?
I was gonna ask you, do they stay there? Do they stay there, or do they come home and practice
No,
and then go
you
back?
have to. No, because you get jet lagged. You got.
I think you have to stay there too. 100%.
You have to stay there.
I think that gives them a massive advantage in the second game. They play the Bills, I think, in the second game, right?
Yeah, it's Atlanta.
That gives them a huge advantage in the second game.
And guess who
the Bills
they
are going to be
play
coming out.
after?
They're going to be jet lagged. They're going to be used to it. They will have been there for over a week
Well,
already.
and guess who they play after? Indianapolis. So
Do they at least have a bye week
no,
after London?
no.
No?
And that was my thing. I'm like, 2 weeks in London, perfect. Because you don't have the jet lag of they normally come back the next week, so you don't lose the jet lag, or you don't have the jet lag. So then I thought to myself, perfect scenario, if you have 2 weeks in London, then you give them the bye week in week 6 and you move on. No, in week 6 they'll be playing that Sunday, October 15th, at home against Indianapolis. So God willing, I'll be
Well,
at
at least
that
they're playing
game.
it. At least they're playing at home.
Right. And God willing, I'll be at that game, but that should have been a bye week. Well, this is how crazy Jacksonville's schedule is. London, week 4. London, week 5. Then have to play the following week, and then have a short week playing on Thursday at New Orleans after that week. So they got to play London, jet lag, home, God willing, no. And then after playing 2 London games in 3 weeks, they have to play on Thursday night. That's not fair.
That is not ideal.
It's not fair. I'm trying to see what the heck our bye week is. It is no, it's not that week. So yeah, I mean they got to keep playing all the way through this thing until week 9 is their bye week. So they have London, home at 1:00, then Thursday night football, then they have at Pittsburgh. So they're away from home overseas, at home, at Pittsburgh, then bye week. Oh, pardon me. At home, at New Orleans on Thursday, at Pittsburgh after that. And so if they can run that gamut and win the majority of those games, I want people to give us some dang flowers because I'm still waiting for people to apologize to me about last season. So that's a tough schedule to be overseas, home at 1:00, no break, on the road Thursday, on the road Sunday, and then they get a bye week.
And those games are no pushovers either.
No, you're
Not
at
even
New Orleans.
not
with
even
Derek
Atlanta.
Carr.
Not even Atlanta's a pushover.
Now in Syracuse,
I mean, you got
shout
the
out-
Bills,
Matt Bergeron's
you got the
gonna
Bills,
be
you got the Colts, you got the Steelers, you got the Saints.
yeah.
You know, the Saints with Derek Carr are going to be, an interesting team this year. I'm interested to see how they do, but that's going to be a really, really tough week for them. But
Yeah.
one thing I did want to mention, for the first time in 12 years,
Yes, sir.
the Jets will be on Sunday Night Football.
Let's go.
How about that? They have not been on Sunday Night Football,
I like it.
and I believe the last time they were was week 1
Yes.
oddly enough, on September 11th in 2011
Yeah.
against the Dallas Cowboys on the 10th anniversary of 9/11.
Yeah.
And they will play the defending Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. I would like to be at that game.
Yeah.
That's my plan. I got to get some people to go with me. but I'm thinking I would be going to back-to-back games because I'm talking to my family about going to one early in the season.
Yeah.
We might go to the Patriots game week 3 because I was just talking to my dad earlier. He's like, we got to figure out games because they're playing in primetime like every freaking week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they got 6 primetime games.
Well, here's the thing.
Here's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Why does the Black Friday game count as primetime?